All right, welcome to an informational session that we're hosting on behalf of UBS today. Today's session is all about wealth management careers and opportunities at UBS. And we have a number of mentors from the UBS team joining us today to share their lived experiences within UBS and just getting into a wealth management career. So I'm Kunal, one of the community managers here at Mentor Spaces. I'm joined by my colleague, Randy Emelo, who will be moderating the session here with the mentors. Before we get started, I want to let everybody know that you can ask any questions that you have during the conversation about each one of these mentors' experiences inside the Q&A, or raise your hand and we can unmute you and share. You can share your question through voice on Zoom here. With that, if there's no other kind of logistical things, we can go ahead and get started with the session. I'll go and pass it over to Randy for us to kick off the conversation. Randy?
Yeah, hey, thanks, Kunal. And I appreciate everyone being able to join us today. We have a great group of panelists, mentor panelists, who are going to share their lived experience. And we also have a growing list of attendees. And as Kunal said, we're really open to trying to make this as interactive as possible. So those who are attending, go ahead and just pop any questions you might have, either for a direct panelist or a general question as it relates to the topic. Put that in the chat feature and we will pick that up and try to weave that into our conversation. And with so many great mentor panelists, it's going to be hard to get everyone's lived experience in, but we're going to try our best. Just a little bit about who I am. My name is Randy Emelo. I am a chief strategist here at Mentor Spaces, and I work with our customers like UBS to help actively engage and facilitate mentoring processes. I've written a book, authored a book called Modern Mentoring, and over 50 feature articles on modern approaches to mentoring, of which Mentor Spaces is the latest and the greatest iteration of how mentoring can happen today. So with that said, we're going to jump right into our first question. We have such a great variety of mentors on the panel today. What I'd like to do is just have you quickly introduce yourself and just give us a synopsis of your career journey in wealth as it relates to the topic of wealth management, as we inform the audience of maybe what are some of the different ways that you can get into wealth management, as well as, what are some of the different kind of journey arcs that people go on. And I'm going to open this up since Lucy, I know that you've been on a recent panel. I'm going to pick on you. Let's start with you, Lucy.
Thanks for picking on me first. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I have been with UBS for about 10 years, and most of my career, about 9 years, is in wealth management in the research function. So just from a big picture wise, as a wealth manager, your first reaction is probably financial advisors facing directly clients. But my role is a bit different because somebody has to come up with the research and investment ideas to pitch client to manage their wealth prudently. So I'm in sort of a research and analytic role. And if that's something that you're interested in, you think you're good at numbers, interested in following markets, I think that is the end goal I am pursuing. So my brief background is I started covering emerging markets about 9 years ago, and then gradually moved on to Asia, covering China and APAC. And then now I cover global equities. So the bigger equity globally is my focus area.
That's fantastic. Yeah, sorry, Lucy, that's fantastic. So you've basically traveled the world in your job.
Yeah, exactly.
Researching different markets. I mean, very interesting if you're into numbers and you're into global wealth management and looking at different kind of market segments, global market segments. It can be very fascinating work in that regard. Who wants to go next? I'm going to open it up and just let you go next. And I think Lucy did an excellent job of kind of showcasing how to introduce yourself to the attendees today.
I'll go next.
All right. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Randy, thank you for having me. And nice to see some familiar faces on the line here too. So yeah, similar to Lucy, I've been with the firm, with the UBS about 9 years. I started with them right out of college as an intern. So I've really only ever known one corporation, but I've lived in 3 different cities with UBS and kind of seen my career progression arc in an interesting way. I actually got started off as an intern and did some various kind of jobs that were short in nature in a program that I got started off of, which was rotational. And so I got to see a wide range of the firm, but then spent some time in research, and which was really interesting. But I found myself really enjoying the work, but really finding that my strength was in people, and working with people, and I wanted that to be more a part of my job. And so UBS facilitated me moving down to Tennessee, which is where I'd gone to school, and to work directly with our financial advisors and clients. So more on the front lines of working with people, and then got to know that side of the business for 3 years. And then an opportunity came to lead a business in another city in Tennessee, this time in Memphis, which is where I am now. And I moved here just over a year ago. So now I kind of get to run a business, so a business ownership aspect of it, but still at the end of the day, spend most of my time helping people reach their goals, whether that's my advisors or ultimately clients.
Great. So what I hear you saying, Sarah, so you run a branch, is that what you do?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so a branch in wealth management would be you're focused in a local community serving direct customers.
Correct.
Am I correct on that? Great.
Yeah.
Just so, again, our listeners can understand, what are these different roles within wealth management? Thanks so much. Who wants to go next? Edgar?
Sure. I was waiting because Sarah and I have a similar role, so I didn't want to go back to back. But Edgar Morita, I've been with the firm for almost 12 years now. I started in 2010. At the moment, I am the branch manager based out in California, Menlo Park. I started in 2010 in the home office, where I had different roles working with, started with the stock option groups, where we worked with corporate executives on their stock option plans that they get from their companies. And then I transitioned over to a role in FA recruiting, which kind of set the pathway to where I am now, where we help branch managers recruit financial advisors to UBS, which intrigued me even more, and kind of continued on that pathway in working with branch managers and different field leaders across the firm at the divisional level, which was my role after that. And my most recent role prior to this was an assistant market head, where I worked in Connecticut in a branch, and we helped, along with the local branch managers and market head, we helped financial advisors deliver, the resources that we have at UBS to our clients. And which leads me to the position I'm in now, where I'm a branch manager, where I'm in the seat partnering with advisors and clients, ensuring that they receive the best service that we have to offer. So,
great. So thank you so much, Edgar. And what I hear you saying, when even within the local branches, there are different roles. So marketing would be local marketing, marketing to the local community, and bringing in potential clients. Is that a role within the branch?
So it could be potentially if a team wants a marketing person, a financial advisor team wants a marketing person on their team. But the roles that I've had in the branch were more on the leadership side.
Okay.
So that was called the assistant market head, where you're on the leadership management side of the business.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay. How about Taylor?
All righty, Randy. Well, Edgar and Sarah, so I come from a very privileged background. If you looked at a piece of paper when I was 5 years old that said, what's your favorite color? What do you like to do? What do you want to be when you grow up? It said stockbroker. So that's what my dad did. And, even though, high school, college was hyper focused on social justice, community building, got turned down from every job that I applied for. And so got drafted to become an operations person, but a financial advisor within my father and his partner's wealth management team. So I work with clients every day. Our team works with clients every day, managing clients' stock and bond portfolios, helping their money help the client realize the life that they want to lead. Vastly different from where Lucy sits. Like our team leverages what Lucy does to serve our clients. But if I'm, somebody wanting to get into the industry, Edgar and Sarah, those two contacts, those are the keys right there, because they know what all of the different teams need. And if UBS is sourcing talent, the branch managers have the best idea of what all of the teams, at least on the client facing side, right? I'm not speaking to the analytics side, I'm speaking to the client facing, the advisor roles. Those branch managers know exactly what teams can use what sort of talent. And also those, quasi team roles in terms of what Edgar is speaking to, like a marketing role for a single branch. You could be working with a bunch of different advisor teams, but just hyper focused on marketing or tech or something else.
Great. Thank you so much, Taylor. Sydney.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me today. I have a little bit of a different experience entering the world of wealth management. I never really saw myself going into financial services, and similar to Sarah, I knew I really liked people and liked helping people. So I decided human resources is kind of where I want to take my first stab in my career. So I got an internship with UBS one summer as a human resources intern. And I loved my experience. And I couldn't tell if I loved financial services or I just loved UBS and the people, because I think that you could be in almost any industry, and if you like the people, kind of makes it work. So I came back full-time as an HR GTP, which stands for our Graduate Talent Program. So I, similar to Sarah, also got to rotate through several different facets of HR. And as I got closer to the business, I got to work with people in our asset management functions and our investment banking functions, as well as wealth management. And I really realized that ultimately I wanted to make the transition over to the wealth management side of things. Not totally sure how I was going to do that. So after about a year and a half, the program was coming to an end, and I was looking, for different opportunities. And I found myself where I am right now. I'm in a chief of staff role. So I'm the deputy chief of staff to the COO of wealth management. So I service the world of Taylor and the world of Edgar and the world of Sarah and the world of Lucy. And basically what our role is to, take our firm's purpose, take our firm's strategy, take our firm's technology and market it correctly to the appropriate stakeholders. And it coming from someone with no experience in wealth management, no family in wealth management, it has been above and beyond the greatest learning opportunity of my life. And it's been great so far, and I'm excited to kind of see where my career takes me next at UBS.
Great, thank you so much. And again, I'm going to encourage those in the audience, if you do have specific questions, please put them in the chat. We'd love to pick those up and feed them to our panelists here and see how they respond to them. A little bit, it sounds like wealth management is a broad field. So based off of your experience, what kind of different educational requirements or disciplines, or maybe what kind of backgrounds best fit wealth management? And again, I'm offering that up kind of as a softball question, because I think we're already hearing from the panelists that there's a lot of different ways to come into this professional arena. So based on your experience, what are some of the different disciplines, backgrounds, and educational requirements that would align well with wealth management? And anyone can jump on that question.
I'll take a stab. The good news, in my opinion, any educational background can really, that individual can really enter the wealth management space, like literally any educational background. What I think is important is a person's, what drives them? Do you like helping people? Do you like solving problems? Do you like, challenges? If that's something that you're more passionate towards, wealth management is definitely an industry that you want to consider. And there's so many different roles that you can do that, those things. And those are just a few. I'm sure my colleagues here will add a few more.
Thanks, Edgar. And with that, I pretty much saw everyone else nodding and going, yeah, like, so for instance, you don't have to have a degree in finance to be in wealth management. I mean, that might be a misnomer. In fact, it might be helpful to have a degree in communications or even HR or leadership and development. Any one of the, as well as research or science. So with maybe zoology, I don't know. Based off of what are some, I think, Edgar, you brought it up, that there's a variety of different roles. So based in with our panelists here, you've described some of the roles that you've been in, but let's see if we can't help kind of ping pong around a little bit and identify what are some of the different roles or that you're aware of within wealth management. What are some of the different support roles, administrative roles, as well as frontline roles, client-facing roles, and so on? Anyone want to start?
Yeah, I'll take a stab. I think sometimes the biggest, when you think about, there's such a variety of roles. I think it's sometimes helpful to think about like what are the qualities that you're looking for. So I think they can kind of be broken up into, if you really want to be part of like a big corporate structure, we have opportunities like that in, the kind of traditional things that a lot of corporations have. Like we mentioned HR, that can be kind of wealth management adjacent. So there's things like that. And then I think if you really want to be in at the front, quote unquote, front lines or in the core business of wealth management, I think the definition, if you want to be predominantly client facing versus predominantly like internal, can help you kind of identify. And I think that's helped me, right, identify like what I want my work style, like what my work style is best suited for. If I'm maybe more outgoing or an extroverted type person, or I want to have some kind of entrepreneurial kind of tendencies, that would maybe lend more towards the client-facing side. Or if you kind of like being part of a big team and having structured goals and kind of clearly defined roles, I think maybe the corporate side might be a little bit more your footing, but there's a wide range between those. But I think that's helped me kind of think about different paths you could take in wealth management.
Yeah, who wants to pick that up from there?
Yeah, and I'll just add to that. I mean, if you think about what our clients want, of course, it's amazing service from our financial advisors, but especially I believe that like the age range on this call is, coming out of college or a couple years out of college. So think about how much time you spend on your phone and on apps. So a huge part of UBS is making sure that we're delivering, top tier technology to our clients, because emerging wealth or even, people well into their careers, they want easy access. So we have people doing app design, we have people doing web design, we have a whole technology function. So I like to think of UBS as like this world and an ecosystem, and basically anything you think you need in an ecosystem we have. So we have a community affairs team if you're passionate about community service, we have a technology team, we have an operational team, and if you want to go another layer kind of above that is what Sarah said. So there's the opportunity to work, in more, we call it home office, which is the role I'm in right now, and Lucy's considered a home office role, where Edgar, Taylor, and Sarah are out in the field working with our clients, and you can kind of experience working in both if you have a career here, which is great.
So back office, frontline, or client facing, and then you have some middle roles as well that kind of fit in between. Great. Edgar or Taylor, you want to, anything you want to add to that?
I think Lucy was about to speak.
Oh, Lucy was going to talk.
Yeah, I was going to say that I'm sort of in the middle, because if you think about what we call an investment value chain, it actually started with client advisors soliciting a client that you probably already have, or a prospect, and then understanding what client needs, and then trying to come up with an investment portfolio that meets the client's desired return or can tolerate risk. And then me as a research role will come up with the general market trends and also investment ideas to guide where this portfolio should go. And there's also people developing or researching specific product to implement the ideas we come up with. So I would say a research or a product development role also within wealth management interfaces clients with the financial advisors, but at the same time, we also have some downtime or alone times that we actually sit down alone or as a team to discuss a research or an analytical part of this, this value chain. And in the end, then we deliver together with the client-facing FAs via also potentially the technology function. So front to back together, we deliver to clients. That's the idea. So that's why there's so many wide range of roles. Taylor, would you like to add something to it?
No, I mean, I think you hit on it. Edgar, you probably got a better sort of breadth of scope than I do in terms of how to access at least the front lines.
So access to, so Randy, are we talking about specific roles in the field?
Yeah, just describe what your experience is, what you know. I guess what we're trying to do is just present what are the different varieties of roles that people could fit into.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, I'll give my example. I started out in a client service role where I'm not client facing, but I'm speaking with clients on the phone every day about their accounts. And then I realized that I want to be more people facing and interacting, and I got an opportunity to do that. So it's a lot of different things that you can do, whether it's, you know, to Sarah's point, whether it's client facing, whether it's you want to be more operational and you don't want to deal with people. So it can go many different ways. Hope that helps.
Yeah, I think it's tremendously helpful. And what we're hearing by example and by your story is that the organization in and of itself has a culture that allows you mobility. So you can create, in a sense, the career path that makes sense for you, and the organization tolerates that.
100% tolerates it and supports it and encourages it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah,
One
go
thing-
ahead, Edgar. Sorry.
Oh, Randy, I would just add one other thing that I think just knowing who's on the line here is a good example, but might be helpful for the people that are online too, is thinking about kind of what kind of geographic, place is important for you, right? There are just as thinking about like practical, you know, how you kind of get into our business, a lot of the home office and, maybe less client-facing roles tend to be in some of our larger corporate centers, although I'm really excited that a lot of that is changing. So if that's important to people, or like for me, like I really wanted to move to New York, right? Like that was really important for me when I first got started. Like that's something to think about. But the opportunities, if you want to kind of stay in your local community, or you want to try out maybe a community that's outside of one of the major kind of urban centers, that's where being in the front side of the business and something like that, like Taylor is involved with, is something gives you an opportunity to do that. I just think that's always really helpful to understand too, as people are thinking about how they want to meld their career.
Great.
Real quick, I want to piggyback on what Sarah said. If you find a geography or a role or anything, Google us, like on LinkedIn, whatever, just hit us up. And, anytime I've always reached out, I've always received, to others at UBS. Everyone at UBS is always the most responsive. And that goes for internal and external, in my experience. Yeah. So reach out to us.
Yeah, and that just piggybacking on to what Taylor was saying there is that's really one of the purposes of this program that you're participating in right now, is that anyone in the audience can connect with one of these mentors, and even if they're doing something slightly different than what you want to do, it's still really important to be able to connect and have relationship with somebody who's inside the organization, because then Lucy or Edgar, any one of the people on this call could help refer you to a colleague who might be better suited to answer your questions or network you around or just help you understand a little more about what the day in the life is like. What are some of the critical decision points that you're going to be making? If you have a career doing something else and you're a recent grad and you find yourself underemployed, or you find yourself in a situation where you're not in a fulfilling either organizational environment, or you find yourself in an unfulfilling role and you really want to get into wealth management, I encourage you to reach out to one of our panelists here today, and Kunal will let you know how to do that. And we'll connect you with them and you can learn more. And it's obviously always better to know before you go, right? Before you make the jump, find out what it's like over there. And here are the people who can help you do that. Thank you so much, panelists. We've put a feedback poll up here for the audience members to engage with. And we are out of time. We want to finish up kind of on time. So before we do, one parting, maybe if I could have everyone who's a mentor panelist think of one thing that you're grateful for UBS, that you feel that your work with UBS has delivered for you. And we'll go around and have everyone share that and then turn it over to Kunal. So let's go ahead and just start with Lucy. You're in the middle of my screen. Let's start with you.
Yeah. For me personally, working at different parts of the world, for me is very fulfilling. I love traveling, me personally, and not just my investment coverage has moved around the globe. I personally also worked in our Zurich office, our Hong Kong office, back to our New York office more recently. So that sort of mobility, not only position-wise, but also geographic-wise, is what intrigued me most.
Great, thank you, Lucy. How about we go over to Sarah? Something you're grateful for?
Thanks. Good question, by the way. I would have to say I'm really grateful for the impact that my role in UBS allows me to have. It's really, especially over the last several years, allowed me to feel really fulfilled. And it's not in a work life separate, but I kind of find myself feeling a lot more integrated as just kind of one person. And I feel like UBS has helped cultivate that in me. So that's what I'm most grateful for.
Great, thank you so much. Why don't we go up to Sydney?
I was gonna say traveling too, but Lucy stole mine. I have been in New York and I really want to move to Colorado, and UBS has been really supportive in that making that happen. So hopefully it'll happen in the next couple of months. So grateful for that. And then second is the internal access we have to mentors and leadership here. I mean, since day one, I feel like if there's a managing director, a financial advisor who's been here for 30 years, if I reach out, sometimes, maybe you have to reach out twice. No one here has ever turned anyone away saying, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to learn from you. So just the mentorship opportunities that this place provides, I hope can help me continue to build my career here.
Thanks, Sydney. We look forward to welcome you here in Denver.
You're in Denver?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
We're headquartered in Denver. Edgar.
Yeah, I certainly echo Lucy, Sarah, and Sydney. Going into college, I knew nothing about finance, wealth management, or anything like that. I kind of just picked this career because I thought that's where you can make a lot of money. But I knew I liked helping people, and coming to UBS has really, the people here are incredible because one, they've helped me learn the business, understand it, and they've helped me throughout my career. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity to learn about wealth management due to the people here at the firm.
Thank you, Edgar. Taylor, let's finish it up.
My echo is the people. It's the patience that managers and senior partners have had with me. I was a know-it-all coming out of college. So the patience and the opportunities to humble myself and the tough love that they gave me to help myself grow in humility and gratitude for all of our clients and the work that we do have to do. The people are truly, truly the best.
Great. Thank you so much. Kunal, I know we're right on time. So if you can take us out.
Yeah, a couple of final notes. As Randy mentioned, all of these mentors are available for you to connect one-on-one. I've seen some folks already mention their preference for one-on-one connections. So we'll go ahead and make those introductions via email based off of their time and availability. So look out for those connections through the concierge channel, which is the direct channel communication from the app. So go ahead and monitor that for notification with those introductions. We have another session that we're hosting for UBS on behalf of UBS on Tuesday. This session is all about investment banking and investment banking opportunities at UBS. So if you're interested in continuing to learn more and network with a different set of mentors from UBS, please join us for that session at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday of next week. With that, I'll go ahead and close it out. I'm really excited to have some of the audience members share that their confidence level was increased after attending the session in selecting a career path and learning more about a career path at UBS. So thank you for joining, and thank you for sharing your perspectives, all the mentors here.
Thank you, mentors.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, y'all. Peace.
Bye, everyone.
Later.
Hi, thanks.